Wait till you guys eat this.
Wow. Hey, look, it's so
Give me
clean.
some of that. That's what I'm talking about.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sports Arena Live on a Monday night. I'm going to pay homage to a man who we just lost this weekend, who fought a battle with cancer, but was by far the greatest game show host, I think, ever. So, introductions tonight will be done in honor of Mr. Alex Trebek. So, first off, he is one of the 7 Dallas Cowboy fans that I actually respect, and is also the host of Believe in the Pac-12 podcast, who is Michael Carrottenuto, joining us here this evening on the Sports Arena in full Dallas gear that he is. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. They sucked, but hey, they actually played like a football team. They played like a football team yesterday. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, no, I'm good. It is about Alex Trebek was one of my favorites. I do have to say, I think it wouldn't even be like 1-2. Like Bob Barker would be my 1A, and Alex Trebek would be my 1B. But like again, it's like literally splitting hairs.
It really is. But the fact that your sister,
and you saw my picture that
I did, man. That gave me goosebumps to know that someone I am very close to, his family member was actually on the show, which proves that there is some smarts in your family. It just ain't you.
Hey, here's the best part about that. When we finally got to see the episode, she actually buzzed it. She missed, and she knew the answers. She missed 2 sports questions, and my friends just looked at me. I said, man, I gave her, we didn't go crazy details because I'm like, Jeopardy doesn't go box scores. I'm like, you go big numbers. But she knew her stuff, and she missed 2 damn sports questions, man. My friend's like, yeah, way to prep her. But yeah, she finished second. I mean, she always says she lost. I mean, if you don't win on the show, obviously. But she did finish second. But she got a free trip to Florida out of it. So yeah, no, she was. And funny thing, because I went on the Family Feud.
Yeah, I
with
saw.
my cousins. She was jealous of that. But the funny thing, Eric, is that she, I actually went and tested because she went out to the Jeopardy test. Like I think it was and each time I think she had passed, but then it's if you get the call back or not, or maybe she didn't pass the first time, but the second 2 you passed the writing test, and then you go into obviously up against 2 other contestants and the producers are there, whatever.
Right.
So but when she got it, so they came out to a casino out here, Wild Horse Pass, and I said, man, I'm a college grad, and the older you get, not that it was easy, but a lot of the stuff on Jeopardy, like when you watch it when you're first, I mean, it was on forever, but I remember watching it with her, and she's 3 years older than me, so it's like I'm in 6th grade, she's a freshman, and she starts getting these answers right, and then 7th grade, same thing. I'm like, oh, I want to beat you, but it's like, I mean, I mean, obviously, education-wise, at that age, we haven't covered a lot of the stuff yet.
I got you.
But anyway, I went out to Wild Horse Pass, a casino, took the written test, passed it by 2 questions because I got to say, the last 10 were pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie, and but I passed it by 2, and then I went to with the 3 people. And it's funny because the buzzer works the same as it does on the show. So if you click early before the question's done being read, it freezes for 3 seconds. So that's why you always see people on the show. That's why she explained to me too. That's why people are always doing this, because they'll start buzzing in. It'll freeze for like 1,000, 1,000. Maybe it was 2, but either way, it locks it. So I mean, you can still press it, but there is one thing. So then it's like, this boom. So I had that issue a few times, but I actually ended up, me and this woman ended up tied, and we crushed the third person. I mean, they were terrible. And I'm proud to say that. But I didn't get a call back, man.
They didn't want no Dallas Cowboys on there. They didn't want no Cowboys on. That's what it was, man. If you'd have been from Philly or somewhere else, you'd have been fine. But
I know. Hey. Well, they were looking for people that weren't smart, so they said, "Oh, where's the Philly section?"
Let me get the rest of the crew in here, man. So again, he is the host of the Carousel live on Thursday nights on all social media facets, Facebook, Twitter, and also YouTube. He is a Jacksonville Jaguars writing contributor and also a journalist for the Florida Sun Review, the oldest Black newspaper, Florida newspaper. Let me welcome in, I call him the big dog, who is Mr. Alex Fleming. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Celebrating history was made on Saturday. And I think the country was saved too without talking any politics. I'm sipping my drink and eating some Gouda cheese. Too bad I don't have any crackers.
Oh, all right. And with that being said, let me welcome in who is, well, actually, let me revert that. She is one half of Beauty and the Cleats every Wednesday on YouTube and all social media facets. She also is one part of the Tom Gronkowski Show, and we all know her and love her. And again, she is one of the 7 Dallas Cowboy fans that I actually do love and respect. Please welcome in, who is Miss Ruth the Truth. What's going on? How are you?
Hello, gentlemen. So happy I made it. I woke up like 5 minutes ago. And I didn't set an alarm, so everything just happens for a reason. I woke up right in time to be here, so. And
she woke up flawless like that. That's how she rolls.
I woke up like this.
Okay, that's real fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Let's get to the topics here, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Sports Arena. So, first question, right out the gate, which concerns 3 out of the 4 of us because we live in this area. So, Mike, I definitely want to get your thoughts, but I want to go to Ruth first, because I know this is a subject very near and dear to you. We saw what happened last night with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, we all expected this game to be an NFC Championship preview. This was the second time these 2 teams were meeting, but it just did not seem to go the way of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, Ruth, first question of the night here. Was the Bucs' loss last night a hiccup, or should we be concerned?
I believe everybody should be hitting the panic button at this point in time. We are going into week 8 of the NFL. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers should be falling into suit at this point of time in the NFL. I'm a little disappointed with Tom Brady and his performance last night. I mean, you have been in the biz for 20 plus years. I know that it's a primetime game, but you are used to the spotlight. So that whole excuse of it being a primetime game and maybe these guys weren't ready, I'm not buying it. I mean, you have the audition of Antonio Brown, so everybody's expecting this to be lights out. And for you not to be even able to score a single touchdown, like I understand the Saints have a great defense, and they've been a team that have been working well together for seasons, and they are all, very used to the primetime limelight, but that was no excuse. I'm very, very disappointed with the performance of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And yeah, I mean, you got swept by a division rival. Like, this is a huge deal.
So, Alex, I want to come to you on this because you, sir, have been so gracious on the Carousel, shameless plug for the show on Thursday night, to cover both Tampa Bay and New Orleans. And you've seen the pros and cons of both sides of this. So, sir, let me ask you that question. Tampa Bay.
All right.
Do you feel this is a cause for concern?
As I sip my eggnog drowned in whiskey, I have to give you the pros of what happened with the New Orleans Saints. They shut a lot of this chatter up. All this offseason, it was Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that, Rob Gronkowski, Keyshawn Vaughn, offensive line, defense, Antoine Winfield. We have the best linebacking core. We're coming for the title. Did these people not seem to realize that the New Orleans Saints won the division 3 years in a row? That's not by accident. You don't do that by accident. They came into Raymond James like it was their own damn house and laid the smackdown on a lot of candy asses. Maybe it was a Confederate flag they passed up before they made it to the stadium that gave them a little bit of more motivation. I'm not quite sure. That's a talk for another day. Let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Considering that I scouted for this team and I've been covering this team for more than 4 years, I think I have the right to say what I'm about to say. They got dismantled. They got put on limelight. They were treated like Susan from Blank Man, and they didn't retaliate back. When you throw for 209 yards and 3 interceptions, and you make sure that the white guy on the defensive line gets the 3 sacks in a row, so that way there's no flags or penalties, you get embarrassed. You got people who are trying to escape what monumental thing happened on Saturday. You know what? We'll just go to a football game, honey. We're conservative. Let's go. Let's not be around anybody. Let's spend all this extra money to watch a team that has the lowest winning percentage in NFL history get rimrocked by a division foe that we're supposed to be better than. You ran the ball 5 times for a total of 8 yards. I should slap you my damn self. How the hell are you going to control the tempo when you don't run the football? What you get Leonard Fournette for? Is he a nice decoration for your Christmas tree? Are you trying to add diversity to the running back room? Do you not trust Ronald Jones because he fumbled on Monday night against an inferior opponent in the Giants? Oh, better yet, how about this? Why are you going to move Mike Evans to the slot position? Because Marcus Lattimore keeps shutting him down whenever Lattimore is on him. You had 3 receivers over 40 yards, 41, 41, and 64 for Mike Evans. You got sacked like you were a bag of groceries multiple times. And your whole defense was out of sync. They got jumped on quick in every facet of the game. You got outplayed. Alvin Kamara had rushing yards. Taysom Hill had rushing yards. Latavius Murray had rushing yards. Oh, and by the way, 12 receivers caught a pass from Drew Brees. Now, you could argue who the GOAT is, but you did all of that in New England. Well, welcome to the NFC South, bruh. Well, we don't give a damn about you, and we don't kiss no rings. You allowed 12 receivers make that entire defense look bad. Get back to the drawing board, shut the hell up, and realize that this could be a blessing in disguise. Because now, if you keep the same record, and you keep winning games, but you're going to lose to Kansas City. Spoiler alert, you get the 5th seed, which means you get the NFC least. You might actually win a playoff game.
So, Mike, let me turn to you and say, was this more about coaching or was this more about those on the field last night? Because I have sat here and I have praised Todd Bowles for his defense and what he's been able to do. And I understand you are not a fan of Brady, but we at least respect what the man has done in the league. But last night's game, Mike, you've got to give me something. Who was this more on, the players themselves or the coaching staff?
Well, the coaches always said they need a better game plan, but last I checked, and even after Saturday, I didn't think it could get any worse because ASU blew that huge lead against USC. But Herm Edwards said, like, we got to put them in position to make plays. They always take the blame, but yet no, every commentator says coach ain't out there making tackles. Coaches ain't out there making plays. It is a little bit of coaching, but yes, I will say it's coaching because Sean Payton is a freaking genius. Should have been the Cowboys coach. Still bitter about that, as you know, from a decade ago, Eric. But that being said, like, I just want to gloat a little bit real quick because I said once they signed Brady and Gronk, I still said, do the Saints still have Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara? And everybody said yes. And I took the Saints to win. I was listening to Ruth doing a great job on the Martine Gramatica show. And I believe, Ruth, I said Saints win. Kumar is going to get even more touches with Michael Thomas back on the field. Michael Thomas didn't even have a touchdown. But that's how much he throws people off. I said the Saints will win the division then. I wasn't backing off of it. Yes, I know, Eric, you are right. I give you props on that. A little bit of disdain for Brady. But yes, Cam Jordan, that defensive line, if you can get home without blitzing any quarterback, but Tom Brady is not John Elway standing in the pocket, or Brett Favre, who's not scared or who doesn't shy away from hits. He's always been a crybaby, and yes, a lot of quarterbacks are. But I love what Sean Payton did. I love how they did it. The Saints defense, even in the beginning of the season, before the first game, there was a lot of people, a lot of protagonists saying this defense actually is probably going to carry the offense for quite a while. And they came out last night. Drew Brees sick and tired of he can't throw the ball, because there was like 4 passes, to Alex's point. There was like 4 passes that he just dropped over the linebacker. That ain't no lucky throw. That's a Hall of Famer dropping it over an outstretched linebacker at least 3 times that I saw. So yeah, coaches have to make adjustments on the fly, and I've heard every excuse today about it's the coaching. Dan Orlovsky was driving me crazy saying the adjustments. Everybody's making adjustments on the fly in an NFL game. I mean, I don't know. I've been in press boxes. I've been on sidelines. I've seen it's adjustments on the fly. The Saints are the better team. And yes, my disdain for Brady made me choose early. But with Michael Thomas and Kamara, there's no way that I was not going to take the Saints to win the division again. But I did tell you Tampa's a playoff team. But I'll tell you this right now. If that defense plays like that, if they won't even see the Saints in the NFC Championship, in my opinion, because Seattle will crush them in a shootout. Because you can score on Seattle, as we know. But for Tampa, I love what they did defensively. I'm not going to take anything away, because you're right. Everybody has a clunker, and that's fine. But the excuse week 1 against the Saints was it was week 1 when he had the interceptions. He's thrown 5 picks against the Saints. You're telling me Sean Payton and that staff aren't sitting there preparing just like everybody else? The Saints are the best team in the NFC, hands down. Can they hold on and prove it? I mean, they've what? The last 2 years they've been one play. Their season's ended on the last play of the game. So they're the best team in the NFC, and until it gets to playoff time. But they win this division, and I love what Sean Payton does, because I think he always feels, lastly, almost like that second best coach in his conference. Like it's always some other team or always some other coach. And I know the national media doesn't portray him that way, but it's like, oh, Peyton and Breeze have only won 1 Super Bowl. All right, well, Rodgers and McCarthy only won 1 Super Bowl. So I think Sean Payton always has that chip on his shoulder, as does Drew Brees. And he lit him up yesterday. Those passes to me were phenomenal. I mean, the linebackers are right there to tip it away.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my final. Go ahead.
I feel like for the longest time, especially this season, Drew Brees has been hearing a lot of a narrative of, oh, his arm is, out of whack. He's not the same, blah, blah, blah. But I think, last night's game really proved that he is top dog in that division.
So here, Alex, go ahead.
So much talk about how Tampa's got all these weapons. You can't stop us. We fixed the offensive line. We got the best linebackers. We got defensive backs. Who's going to stop this offense? The same team that stopped you 5 of the last 6 times. And the last time that you actually beat the Saints, Ryan Fitzpatrick was your quarterback. So for all of you Fade fans who hopped on the bandwagon this year or claim to be talking trash a while ago, it's time for you to be humble.
So here's my final thoughts on this. And Mike, I'm glad you brought up the Martine Gramatica show that Ruth is co-hosting this week, because I was listening to that today, and something that Martine said actually stuck with me, because the first thing he said was, do you think that the players, not those who are veterans or those who have been on other teams and have played in the big times and the big games, do you think the game was bigger than the gentleman on the field? And that's what Alex and I talked about when Brady first came to Tampa. I said, Alex, I'm looking at this schedule, and I'll give the Bucs, looking at the schedule top to bottom with Brady, I gave them a 12-4 record. I said, but here is my concern. You've got Sunday night games, Monday night games, Thursday night games. Everybody is watching those games, which means you have to raise your level of play because the world is watching you. And I think even the Monday night game versus the Giants, I think we saw it there and again last night. I think the bright lights are a little too big for some of these Buccaneer players, and they are not able to handle the pressure. Now, I hope I'm wrong. Now,
Eric, I think real quick, I think it's the offensive line because real quick, I'll just say the Bears defense showed how to blow up that line.
Okay, but Cam Jordan getting on Tristan Wirfs, we knew that was going to happen. Okay, we knew that. But for some of the defensive, and I take nothing away from the Saints defense because the Saints defense, as Alex said, sacking Brady back to back to back. I mean, it was a crazy thing to see. I actually had to shut the game up. I actually felt bad. But we're going to move past this. What I will say to you is this final point. I feel bad for Carolina because they going to get angry Tom come Sunday. Mm-hmm. Let's keep it going here on the Sports Arena. I've got Mike, I've got Alex, and I've got Ruth. So I'm going to transition and go to a team that I hate, but I love the 2 out of the 4 people. I love all 3 of y'all, but 2 out of the 4 here. I got to talk to y'all. So, Ruth, I'm going to go to this, okay? You guys, you and Mike and the Cowboys organization have been through 4 quarterbacks, and we're only halfway through the season. However, your 4th-string quarterback coming from the XFL, Ruth, you and I both saw this guy up close and personal in Gilbert. So here's my question. Can Gilbert and McCarthy get the Cowboys to do a 180 based on what we saw yesterday and the fact that it seemed as though they almost beat the Steelers? I take nothing away from Dallas yesterday. They almost beat the Steelers. Yeah. Ruth, can Gilbert and McCarthy get the Cowboys to do a 180?
Yeah, once I saw Sunday's performance, I kind of thought in the back of my mind, how have we not had Garrett Gilbert out there sooner? Why did we choose to put Ben DiNucci over Garrett Gilbert? Like, I understand he's your 7th-round draft pick. You picked him up in the draft. You want to utilize the guy. But when it comes down to experience, Garrett Gilbert has been in those primetime positions. I mean, not in the NFL, but I watched him in the AAF. And, I mean, we had a winning record with the Orlando Apollos. I believe we only had 1 game lost to Arizona before the season unfortunately folded. So, yeah, I was really impressed with Sunday's performance. I feel like Garrett Gilbert right off the bat throwing a touchdown pass to CeeDee Lamb really showed that he's there to make an initiative and to make a stance and actually help the Dallas Cowboys. I was impressed with Sunday. I thought we really had a chance to defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is the only NFL team that is undefeated at the point. I mean, what do you think, Mike? I want to know what your take on that.
If Kellen Moore's still calling plays, to me, it doesn't really matter because, like I told Eric last week when we were talking, he's about to go to the defensive coordinator spot where I just say the defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator. I'm not saying his name. So that being said, look, they signed Gilbert off the Cleveland practice squad. So they had to give him that week. I don't think he could have started when DiNucci did, but he did look good. There's no real, I mean, there's AAF film on him. I agree with you. I understand that. There's no real NFL film on him, but for this vaunted Steelers defense, he did take out chunks. Now, I will say this. If Mike McCarthy, if he would please, because Stephen Jones came out today and said 2 things, which drove me crazy. I think Garrett Gilbert should be starting, but he said Andy Dalton's going to be the starter when he's clear, which I don't understand. And then the other thing is if Mike McCarthy will please start calling more plays or just infusing. Your season's going nowhere. I mean, we're still in the hunt for the division, which, like Alex said, it is least and it is pathetic. And I mean, the Giants wish they could play Washington every week because they would be 16-0. That being said, though, to the Cowboys' point, though, it's one of those things where I think Gilbert can do it. He seems like he has that poise. It is 1 game. But I will say this. That last throw almost kind of mirrored DiNucci's throw from the week before, which was crazy. But he put him in place to win. And like Alex was saying earlier, and everybody knows the Bucs only running 5 times. Well, they had to throw the ball because they were getting killed early. But they need to keep running the ball. Like run the ball, and then get that offensive line some confidence and just road grading people. I mean, everybody, like every time we talk about, the Chiefs or the Saints have Kamara, yes. But look what the Chiefs do. If they have to run the ball, they run it. Patrick Mahomes doesn't care if he throws it 23 times and they win. Like, run the ball. You have Zeke. Run the ball. Yeah. Like Christian McCaffrey yesterday gets banged up again. He's day-to-day now. But he was a pain for the Chiefs defense. Zeke can be a pain for a defense. I know you hate to admit that, Eric, but Zeke can be a pain for a defense.
I'm not a fan of it. No, you're right. I'm not a fan of it, but I have to respect what that running back can do for that team. Listen, our man John Mizak is chiming in. So, Alex, I want to go to you really quick because John Mizak is saying this, and I want you to respond. He said the Steelers played down to the level of competition. Alex, you agree with that? All right, go ahead, Alex.
1,000% agree. These two people are high as hell. Why are you guys not sharing the drugs? The Dallas Cowboys are pathetic. And that's the nicest way I'm going to put it. I said
they're terrible.
Let me say this down. You had your time. You had your time. Let me explain. Say terrible. Pittsburgh took this as a damn bye week. You had players online talking about we're about to be 8-0 because they didn't take the Dallas Cowboys seriously. And with the record and coaching that you guys have, I wouldn't take you seriously either. Ezekiel Elliott has regressed in front of our own damn eyes. He had 51 yards. You got to pound the rock against the Pittsburgh Steelers to keep them honest. Because if not, Mika Fitzpatrick might make 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 plays against you and your quarterback. Did you find Amari Cooper yesterday? I think he had 1, maybe 2 catches. So you're telling me you got a rookie in CeeDee Lamb who's going to get the touchdown and is going to get the volume because nobody else can get open? Why are you throwing 3-yard outs? You going to matriculate the ball down the field throwing 3 and 4 yard outs? Did you see Dalton Schultz yesterday? Because I couldn't find him. And I'm not trying to watch Cowboy games. I have better things to do. But yeah, it was pretty piss poor pathetic. And why you guys are even thinking that you guys can win the division, let me give you to a reality check. You lost to Philly. Washington gave you a handwritten ass whipping, and that was with a backup quarterback. The Giants have 2 wins in the division. Washington has 2 wins in the division. The Eagles have 2 wins in the division. You know who doesn't have 2 wins in the division? Yeah, you guys. Please, if we're going to do this sports talk, can we at least be real with each other and admit that the Cowboy season is done?
I said they suck, yes, and it's partly done. But here's the thing. I don't want to hear this tired excuse in the NFL anymore. They look past the team. If you're a pro and you look past the team, then to your words, the team is pathetic and the coaching staff is pathetic. Because that's one thing you could always say about, as much as I hated the Patriots and Eric knew, but Belichick, they weren't looking past teams. They would put up 50 on the Jets. They would put up 50 on the Dolphins. Well, they always struggle with the Dolphins, but they still beat them. My point is, if you're a pro and you're looking past it, you deserve to lose, and it's a pathetic excuse. Sean Payton got asked that last year or 2 years ago when they got just beat down by whoever it was, and he said, yeah, if you think any of my guys were looking past us, he said that to the reporter, Alex. So that is the most pathetic NFL excuse ever. So if they were, they're not going to be the best. They're not the best team in the AFC because the Chiefs are better, and I think the Bills would kick their ass too. So if you're going to look past the team, that's pathetic on their point. But I did say the Cowboys suck.
I want to let Ruth get in here.
Amari had 5 receptions for 67 yards, with his longest being 32 yards. Just saying, he had more than 1 catch.
All right, so let's keep it moving. Here is my final thought on this. The question was, do you think that they can get it turned around? I got 2 for the yes. I got 1 for the hell no from Alex. But here's my point on this. At some point, Dallas has got to establish their identity this season. Yeah. And you only have half the season left. The fact that our division sucks, and I'll be the first one to say it, our division is trash. Our division is garbage. But one of us, either you and Ruth or me, are going to get at least 1 playoff game. That still remains to be seen.
A home playoff game, exactly.
I don't think the Giants are going to do it, even though they're only half a game out. And as much as I love Alex Smith, I just don't know if that leg is going. I think it's always going to be in the back of his mind, and I don't wish him any injury. But now that Kyle Allen is down and the team has moved on from Dwayne Haskins, Alex Smith can definitely get you some victories. I just don't know if he's the guy to roll this second half of the season. So it's either going to be Philly or Dallas. To make that very clear.
Yeah.
I hope it's Philly. Y'all hope it's Dallas. There will be a one-and-done NFC East playoff home game.
I hope
why do you think I'm happy for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? There's a reason why I'm happy for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're going to have the best record out of all the teams that don't win the division. And who are they going to face?
Okay.
One of your slob-ass teams.
Okay, Alex, you know what?
On the road.
just for that, Alex, I'm going to say something I've never said before in my whole entire life. If Dallas gets a home playoff game and they have to face the Bucks, it'll be hell. But I will cheer for the Cowboys.
Yes! I can't believe this.
Yo, you said that live?
I said that live. Just because no, let me tell you why. Because see, Alex got that chip on his shoulder, and I'm about to knock that chip off his shoulder. So I'm about to do the unthinkable, something I have never done. You know me. Y'all all know me. 2 teams I cheer for every Sunday, Philadelphia, whoever's playing Dallas. But since you want to be so confident in that Tampa's going to get that number 5 seed, and they're going to have to face someone in my division, then damn it, for the first time, I'm going to show you what 2021 going to look like. If Tampa has to face Dallas in Jerry World, I will cheer for the Dallas Cowboys.
You know what? Fine. I'll up that too. I will cheer for the Eagles. I hope a 6-10 team makes it to the Super Bowl because then I can laugh at it. It wouldn't happen, but it would be hilarious. And I will root for the Eagles.
2020 season. You can never put anything past this year.
We're going to take a real quick break.
Every one of you are high.
That's fine. And we ain't sharing with you. We're going to take a real quick break. We will be right back. More with the Sports Arena. Welcome back to the Sports Arena live here on a Monday night. Your man, Eric Wilson, alongside Mike Caratanudo, Alex Fleming, and, of course, our girl, Ruth the Truth. Everybody back in the house here. Now that we've all had time to calm down and marinate on the fact that I just came out my mouth twice with something I've never said before. And yes, it is live, and I'm sure people are going to edit and cut this and paste this all over social media so that I don't forget it. But let's move on. So, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, the game yesterday that everybody should have paid attention to was Kyler Murray and Tua Tagovailoa. Arizona and Miami was such a great game. I was so happy I had Red Zone. I had the opportunity to see it. Mike, actually, no, Alex, I want to start with you on this one. Kyler and Tua, great game yesterday. How good does the future of the NFL look based on what you saw yesterday with those two guys?
I feel sorry for all the hypocrites and the hypocrisy that's going on in the NFL right now because they're probably tuning into their fantasy points and wondering, damn, I must have missed a hell of a game. For those who are boycotting or deciding not to watch, you missed a barn burner. Kyler Murray had 283 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and he ran real quick and accumulated 106 yards rushing and another touchdown on the ground. Tua, not to be contained or overdone, had 248 yards passing, 2 touchdowns himself, and scooted for about 36 yards and had control of this Miami offense. Flores made the right decision. There was a little bit of animosity, especially with the bigots in the Washington football fan group. They're saying, why are you pulling Fitzpatrick for Tua Tagovailoa? Obvious racism. Wrong. 2020 should teach you something. This Miami Dolphins squad is ahead of schedule. They weren't supposed to be this good until next year. Preston Williams went down with the injury. That's going to hurt. But they're going to get Myles Gaskin back because he didn't play this game. He won't play the next game as well. But keep your eye on those Dolphins. They weren't supposed to be competitive, yet all of a sudden they're 5-3? Did we expect this out of the Dolphins? Any of you saying yes, you're a damn lie. As far as Arizona is concerned, this is a teachable moment. They had the lead most of the game, and they let Miami get back into business. Once Kyler Murray gets DeAndre Hopkins off of the Xavier Howard, Byron Jones island, because he only had 3 catches for 30 yards, and utilizes all the parts of his offense, Arizona's going to be a very dangerous team. I got my eyes on Miami claiming that number 7 seed in this year's playoffs.
Wow. All right, Mike, they played in your backyard. So talk to me about this yesterday, brother, because I know, like I did, you probably watched it from start to finish. What did you see with these 2 young men?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, Tua actually had a lot more to do with the win this week over last week, and the Rams played absolutely. I mean, the defenses beat up the Rams offense, but for Kyler, I mean, the thing here is they should have went for it on 4th and 1. I mean, you have Kyler Murray. You lead the NFL in total offense. Like, it's 4th and 1. I get it's a 49-yard field goal. Gonzalez has hit 55, 57-yarders. I get it. Go for it on 4th and 1 and go from there. But as for your question for the future, I mean, absolutely. Kyler Murray's ridiculous because you think you're going to tackle him. And when you see it on TV, I mean, it's crazy. I went to a few games last year and watched him just like somebody's right there. And it's the NFL. So you always know, you see, there's a huge hole. And all of a sudden, the guy only got 2 yards. You're like, how the hell did that happen? Like, where do these defenders come from? But you're even with Kyler and you're feeling good. And then all of a sudden, he's in front of you. And then all of a sudden, he's like 15 yards past you. So he can throw the ball. I mean, that pass to Christian Kirk yesterday.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Steve Young had the best quote. He goes, "This is Dan Marino right here." He goes, except at 5'8", and he stepped up. And I mean, Christian Kirk, as the Jets on, smokes the DB, and it's in the basket. So yeah, I mean, the fact that, and look, Tua looks good. They do have a shot at that 7 spot. I'll definitely say that. Definitely. I mean, it's like Kyler. I want to see what he does the rest of this year. Miami is ahead of schedule, but again, I don't think they're better than Buffalo. That defense of Buffalo, you know me, I've been on it all year, even though they struggled a little bit there the last few weeks, but they're still 7-2. But
save that, because we're going to get to them.
No, I was just going to say, Kyler and Tua, that is a rivalry that, unfortunately, we only get to see every 4 years, as you guys know. But it will be a hell of a rivalry.
Listen, the schedule could change to where they have to play one team out of, so we might have that matchup that might fade.
Maybe.
Ruth, I want to get to you on this because, you've covered a lot of Florida teams. And now the fact that we have a guy in Tua down in Miami, and a real quick shout out to our boy, Alex, Jerry Vistola, true Miami fan. He's wearing the leg, got the Hawaiian shirts on. He is all about Tua time. But Ruth, I want to ask you, when you look at these 2 teams, how excited are you to know that the next generation of talent is here now?
All right. So a conversation I had during the Martin Gramatica show is that MVP conversation. Now, I had Kyler Murray in this conversation. He is definitely my top 5 QB when it comes to MVP conversations. And yesterday's game really proved that. I feel bad for Kyler Murray because I know on that 4th and 1 call, he wanted to keep the momentum going. He won the opportunity to win the game. And then when you put it on your kicker and then it doesn't work out, I feel bad for him. But he handled himself with poise in the press conference after the game. So yeah, the future is looking really bright with Tua and Kyler Murray because they're both exceptional quarterbacks. They're super mobile quarterbacks. They know how to run the pocket. They know how to pass. They're smart. Their QB, their QB, their football IQ is just getting better and better with each game. And yeah,
FBI, it was football intelligence.
Say what?
FBI, football intelligence.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Ruth, really quick. Who do you think is the better right now? Who do you think is the better head coach quarterback combination? Is it Kingsbury and Kyler, or is it Tua and Flores?
I want to say Tua and Flores, just because the way Flores talked about Tua and all the confidence that he puts in them, And then the way that he was able to produce yesterday, I have them being a dynamic duo.
Mike, you're shaking your head no. Is that because you're in Arizona?
No, I'm not saying they won't get there, but after 2 games, I'm not about to say it. I mean, at least Kyler this is his second year. But the way Kingsbury can call an offense and the fact that, I mean, it's a team that they have the receiver pieces. I mean, you talk about a Christian Kirk, and yes, Hopkins needs to get the ball more, but you can't leave Fitzgerald out of any offensive game plan. Not that Kingsbury would, but yeah, Kyler with what he can do. Again, they can both run, but I want to see more from Tua. But as of now, I'm going to go with Cliff and Kyler.
All right, Alex, what do you think?
Oh, this is easy for me. I cover all 3 Florida teams, but I'm not about to disrespect Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury.
Okay.
Let's do a history lesson. Kyler Murray, Oklahoma, Heisman Trophy. Cliff Kingsbury, Texas Tech, Red Raider rash, former quarterback. He got rid of the self-entitled Josh Rosen to make sure that he got Kyler Murray. And what had happened after he got Kyler Murray? They struggled last year. They beat a couple of teams in Seattle last year. Cost Seattle a bye week by beating them before they played the 49ers. And now this year, they're just 5-3, barely lost to a upstart Miami team that's completely rebuilt and leads the NFL in total offense. I think it's easy to see that with the bigger sample size, Kyler and Cliff got something going on.
All right, let's keep it going. I got 2 last things I want to discuss with y'all. So this is going to be really quick, guys, and I will put the clock on you. I'm going to give everybody 2 minutes, but I have to know this simple question, and I'm going to flip the script here. Are the Las Vegas Raiders for real this year? Mike, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Go.
I like what the Raiders have done. I mean, defensively, I think they're middle of the road, in my opinion. I think they can make plays when they need to. Look, offensively, Gruden needs to bring in some speed. Obviously, he did that with Ruggs. I think Witten hasn't been used enough. But with how Derek Carr is playing, I mean, you look at Derek Carr, and he was under a lot of scrutiny, and we've talked about this and seen a lot of it. And talking to some people that cover the Raiders, I never understood it because healthy, I think he is a solid quarterback. That the fact that he ran for that first down, you're saying like dove for it and got crushed. Like, I think they're right there. You know, the Chargers always find another way to lose. Justin Herbert gets them closer, but for the Raiders, they are the team to me that almost is like that wild card team of the West because they could go on a win streak. And yeah, I mean, they beat the Chiefs. So
yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, so I mean, do you have it in you for 1 week? Okay, can you do it? Can you build on it? I think they have, but the thing I see too is, and I love Jacobs in the backfield. I'm not going to get out of here without not mentioning Jacobs because that was a phenomenal draft pick. I mean, Mike Mayock identified him from the beginning, and I love that. I love how that kid plays. But I think they're going to need to do a little bit more defensively because if not, I mean, teams like Baltimore and Kansas City are going to beat them. But they're for real. I think they're for real, but they still need a little more to prove.
All right, Ruth, same thing. 2 minutes. Are the Las Vegas Raiders for real?
Okay, so I for sure thought they were for real, especially after they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I thought that was an impressive win. I feel like the Raiders defense really showed up during that game, but can they be consistent is what the question is. I love the formula that Derek Carr and John Gruden are, developing in Las Vegas. I think they really have a shot in the AFC. But right now they're sitting at 5-3. They're second in the AFC West. So they do have a lot to still build on, but I'm drinking the juice for the Raiders.
Doesn't even the full time. Alex, same question, brother. Are the Raiders for real?
I could have swore I wrote an article about this. Oh, that's right. I did write an article about this. Hey, guys, last year, what were they missing? A number 1 wide receiver in Antonio Brown. They had to settle for Tyrell Williams. If they had a number 1 receiver in Antonio Brown, we wouldn't even be talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. Proof is in the pudding. They beat Kansas City this year without their number 1 wide receiver, who's supposed to be Henry Ruggs now. Number 2, offensive line. He got pushed around. He got bullied. You give some help to Derek Carter where he can throw the damn football and he feels a little bit comfortable. He can hit his outlets. Darren Waller is in the conversation for the best tight end in football. Of course, you got Kelsey, and you got a little bit of a chirp with Mark Andrews, but Darren Waller is in the conversation. Josh Jacobs, Alabama, grew up poor, couldn't get a damn scholarship in his own state of Oklahoma. Not a lot of tread on the tires. National championship winner, lands in Oakland, takes over that position. His number 2, Devontae Booker, the reject from Denver, is an excellent compliment to him and what he offers. He can catch the ball, he's versatile, and he's going to give it to you raw every time he runs it. And he scores touchdowns in bunches. The defense, bend but don't break. Loving Crosby, loving Abram. The defense is solid enough to hold people down. They already got a win against the Kansas City Chiefs, and they escaped against the Chargers. You don't have to worry about them against Denver. This team is going to be the fly in a lot of ointment that nobody wants to run into in the first round of the playoffs. And you know what? Shocker, I think they might actually beat the Chiefs again because they got the formula. They already did it once. They can do it again. And the first time, it was in Kansas City. So who's the hell to think that they can't do it again in the Death Star of Vegas? Raiders are for real.
Wow. I'll be very quick on my what I've seen, and I've appreciated Derek Carr prior to his injury. And I know sometimes I call him David, so for all times I've ever called you your brother, I'm sorry. You are Derek Carr. But here's what I will say. You want to know the biggest piece about the Raiders that annoys the ever-loving piss out of me? It is the fact that Nelson Aguilar can catch the damn ball and score as a Las Vegas Raider. You couldn't do that in Philly, but you can do it in Las Vegas? Get the bleep out of here. Anyhow, I'm whatever. Shut up. Let's go to our last topic here on the Sports Media so we can all get out of here. And first and foremost, I have to tip my cat and eat some crow to our man, Mr. Mookie Hawkins. Mookie, I was skeptical when you were on the Carousel Thursday and I asked you about Buffalo facing my cousin, Russell Wilson. But I will say this, the Buffalo Bills, I'm drinking the Bills Mafia Kool-Aid. You can slam me through a table all day long. I believe in Buffalo. Ruth, what are your thoughts on the Buffalo Bills right now? Not only winning the AFC East, but making a true deep run in the postseason.
So I didn't have a chance to watch the Seattle game, but I've caught the highlights. And I'm impressed. I mean, Josh Allen is the real deal in Buffalo, and I think he is something to be reckoned with. And he's obviously shown that he could carry his team as well as be a playmaker, be the play difference. Like, this guy is great on his feet. I'm drinking the Bills juice as well. I think they're going to take that division, obviously, over New England. I mean, come on now. They're losing to the Jets right now. Is anybody watching this?
Oh, no, I got it. Trust me. I keep my eye on it. They're down by 7. Hey. Here's the thing. If the Jets win tonight, I'm going to sleep well because Mama Cara Tenuto will finally get a win. And I love me some Mama Cara Tenuto. So, Mike, I'm going to go to you. Are you drinking the Kool-Aid with the Bills?
Oh, I've been on the Bills since the beginning of the season, even last season. I mean,
since
I know
last year on Thanksgiving.
How they lost in the playoffs of the Texans and Josh Allen. Yeah, that was brutal. Why'd you have to bring that up? Why'd you really? I thought we were allies.
Stranger than fiction.
Anyway, but that being said, no, I mean, I love what Sean McDermott did. That defense was nasty. Terry Bradshaw said it yesterday in the pregame show. If you're the Bills, yes, you need to be balanced. You're Josh Allen. Take that arm that you can throw 80 yards with and chuck down the field. And he did it. He dropped in some great passes. I mean, the kid is strong. We talked about, Eric, the end of last season, how it was just crazy from him leaving Wyoming as being when he was a rookie, and then they're all of a sudden saying like, "Oh my God, look at this guy's form!" Like the Bills coaching staff, McDermott, he is more like a million times more accurate than he was when he got into the league as a rookie. You see him now. You give him Stephon Diggs. That trade was insane, but you get Stephon Diggs. You have a speedster like John Brown. Then you have a defense just like a defense that will punch you in the mouth. I mean, it's like literally, it's like watching a Ravens defense, or if you want to say fine, Steelers defense too. But that being said, if you're not on the Bills Kool-Aid, I'm with you, man. I'll air dive into a table too, crash down, break it. Let's have a party with Bills Mafia because, yeah, they're gonna win the East. The Dolphins will put up a fight, but they're going to win the East. And I think Sean McDermott, he just has that demeanor. I mean, they don't get too down with a loss. They're 7-2, and you would have thought in the last month they lost like 4 games.
Right.
I mean, it's insane to me how and Josh Allen too. Steve Young said it. It says he, not just because they beat the Seahawks in Russell Wilson's game, but his whole body of work so far, he's in the MVP discussion too. There's no way you can't put him there. I mean, I guess you don't have to, but I don't see how you don't. I'm with Ruth on that. Like, this kid, I've loved him since he came out, and he's got the arm for Buffalo. I mean, you know those the Northeast, man. Those wins get going. If you don't have a strong arm, guess what? You ain't playing quarterback up there.
No, you're
so,
not.
I mean, I love what they've done, especially, you know me, defensively. And now that the offense has the weapons, I mean, again, Cole Beasley came from Dallas. I love seeing him do well, but I'm just saying, like, you add a guy like Stephon Diggs. No, I know he's not the whole reason, but you add a guy like Stephon Diggs. You have a nasty defense. You can run the ball if you have to. He can throw it 50 times a game and smoke the Seahawks like they did. They did it to the Rams. I mean, that game against the Cardinals next week, Alex, to this, I'm stoked for that game. I mean, have the Cardinals pulled that off, I do have an inkling that may have been flexed to Sunday night next week. But since the Cardinals lost, they didn't do it. But man,
I don't know.
The Bills come here, and it is going to be an insane game because the Bills defense, again, they're have to be disciplined, but you know they're going to get after Kyler Murray. So I'm with the Bills Kool-Aid, but it'll be a great game next week too.
Alex, I have to give you a lot of props, brother, because since Indianapolis and since the Combine, since we first met Mookie, our man Mookie Hawkins up there in Buffalo, the Bills beat report writer, you have been consistent. You and I have gone back and forth when it came to the Bills and the Patriots. But, sir, like I tip my hat to Mookie, I tip my hat to you. You knew this since March, how good the Bills were going to be.
I want to thank Mookie Hawkins for us even crossing paths. The Combine's been a revelation because we've done a lot of work since the Combine, and people just weren't listening. We're right about the NFC South. We're right about the AFC South. We're right about the NFC West. Bill O'Brien's no longer employed. Of the 5 coaches that said that we're going to get fired, 2 of them have already been fired. And Patricia and Zimmer are both on the hot seat. And then there's the Buffalo Bills, where we tried to warn people and say it's their division. And then you got the Patriots who've been spoiled. They're like, nah, Cam's going to save us. And then you don't have any Jets people. We don't have to worry about that. But we have an emerging problem in Miami. Since the day I met Mookie Hawkins, he tried to let me know the formula on how it gets down in Orchard Park. It was 70 degrees yesterday. There was no snow on the ground. All they heard on social media all throughout last week was chirp, 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 chirp. Russell Wilson's going to do this. Russell's going to do that. Well, that defense stood up. Shout out to Coach Dabble, who's probably going to be the future head coach of the Houston Texans if they don't get Eric Bieniemy, because the offensive line took a beating from Seattle defenders yesterday. But Mitch Morse, Cody Ford, and other offensive linemen got back in the game and sustained those injuries. We need to make a T-shirt because we try to tell people this April, May, June, July, and August. Who got Diggs? 9 catches, 118 yards. Fantasy points. Yep. I don't give a damn about Cole Beasley. You need to pay attention to Isaiah McKenzie or Gabriel Davis.
Shout out to Gabriel Davis for the UCF Knights.
UCF Knights. Gabe Davis looks like a number 1, and he can hardly get any damn playing time because of Diggs, Smoke, and, of course, Cole Beasley. If you weren't paying attention to the Buffalo Bills, don't hop on this bandwagon now. You're too damn late. I'm tired of people trying to jump on when it's too damn late.
Alex, if you're Eric Bieniemy, though, wouldn't you want to go to Atlanta instead of Houston because of better ownership? I mean, they held on to Bill O'Brien for that long and let him make a train wreck of that. If you're Eric Bieniemy, you look at the full picture. Wouldn't you rather go to Atlanta?
Nah, I think.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me answer you this with this. Since they got rid of Dan Quinn, Raheem Morris is 2-1.
Yeah.
Now, that piss-poor, pathetic defense that they have in Atlanta is looking a hell of a lot better. Mm-hmm. Oh, and they got 2 games against the Saints. They got 2 more actually, against Tampa. They don't play them until week 15 and week 17. Look, you know how much I despise those Falcons. But they can salvage their season. And I find it ironic that nobody wants to give credit to the new coach in Houston that doesn't look like Bill O'Brien, or the new coach in Atlanta and Raheem Morris, who for damn sure doesn't look like Dan Quinn. I digress. Buffalo Bills, number 3 seed. They won't beat Kansas City. I don't think they have the capability for smoke for Pittsburgh. They're beating whoever the hell they face in the first round. Pittsburgh better get that number 1 seed because you don't want to run into the Buffalo Bills in the second round of this playoffs. This is why the number 1 seed is so key. You know how many teams got screwed when you took away a bye week from the number 2 seed? Tampa got screwed. Seattle got screwed. Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas City, Pittsburgh are now all at each other's necks because they know that number 1 seed is a one-way ticket to the Super Bowl, because you don't want to go on the road, or you don't want to be at home until you have to go on the road and face the number 1 seed. Raheem Morris, he's doing a good job in Atlanta. As far as Houston is concerned, you give Ben-Ami anything he wants, but I don't think the good old boy network wants to see him in the head coaching position in the AFC South. And last but not least, I want to take side bets with all of you NFC least clowns. If you guys even have the audacity to say that you're going to beat the Tampa Bay Bucks, put your money where your mouth is. Hell, you know what, Mike? I might even send you pizza and wings if you sorry-ass Cowboys can even make it to the playoffs, but you guys can't even get up off the couch. Oh, and you,
I'm taking you on that. I'm taking you on that.
I want my pizza to come and see you. Trust me, I want that smoke. This is a blessing for Tampa. It's going to teach these cowards to be humble, make you look and analyze what you have at your disposal, fix the problem known as Donovan Smith, and get the supposed alleged GOAT to actually go to practice and start to listen instead of bark orders.
Yeah, they still ain't going to beat the Saints. But I want my pizza and wings. If the Cowboys make Eric, sorry, I really want the Cowboys to somehow turn it around with Gilbert. You send me, do I get to pick where I get the pizza and wings from?
No.
Where are you sending them from?
Might be Domino's. I don't have to worry about you. You're the Cowboy fan, bro. You're the Cowboy fan. I'm not worried about you. I am not worried about you.
All right. Either way. No, but all I was saying about Eric Bieniemy is I would rather be in Atlanta than Houston, but I'm not taking anything away from what Raheem Morris has done. I'm just saying, usually even if the interim coach wins, most teams don't stick with the interim coach. I think they should, but I'm just saying if I'm Eric Bieniemy and I look at the situations, I go to Atlanta.
All right, we're gonna save that conversation for another time, and I definitely got a lot to say about Atlanta and what they got going on. I think the game is just tied up. It's about to be tied up 27-27 with less than 2 minutes. So we're gonna see if Joe Flacco can be a game-winning drive guy, or if the Patriots defense is gonna hold up.
It's the Jets. Flacco's gonna throw a pick six. Flacco's throwing a pick six. It's the Jets.
Much love to everybody on here tonight. And again, happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans and all the armed services. Thank you all for what you do and making us the greatest nation that we are in. Thank you again to everybody chiming in here on the Sports Arena. Make sure you check all these people out, starting with our girl, Ruth the Truth. She is on Monday through Friday, 9 to 11, the Martine Gramatica Show on zliving.com. Make sure you check her out. I got Michael Caratinudo, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast. He drops stuff every week. Great stuff from the West Coast. And last but not least, this man's got more titles than I've got probably pairs of socks and underwear combined. He is an NFL contributor, Jacksonville Jaguars writer, Mark Moses, Chris Pirtle. He got the Magic Perspective with Alex and Eric when the NBA starts back up. He's got his own show, The Perspective. Oh, he's got his own show, Fantasy and Flavors. He's also got the Carousel every Thursday night. People, pay attention to the man that is Mr. Alex Fleming. Put some respect on this brother's name because he is one of the hardest working men out there. Same with these two that I know. Much love to everybody. Sports Arena, your man Eric Wilson. Hey, all I do is facilitate. Y'all are the ones that make it happen. Peace.